Let's talk about budgets today. So budgets are a really awkward, super awkward conversation for some people when you're in this like agency interviewing a client or client interviewing an agency meeting. You always have to come up with the budget on like the first date, which makes it extra awkward. After you guys have kind of hit it off and you made sure that like you don't hate the other person, they haven't really looked down on you, or maybe you're starting to mesh with them, the talk of budget's going to come up. How much can you afford to spend? And do you have it set for line items? Or really is this kind of like our cake that you could just say, hey, here's $5,000 or $1,000. Please split it up however you see fit so that I generate a return on ad spend or a return in the end. So there's really two ways that these conversations kind of happen, right? Either the client's going to come in, they'll say, I have this amount per day or this amount per month to spend. I have this earmarked for content creation, this for influencer activations, this for whatever. Or the people are going to be like, essentially like, it reminds me of back when I used to sell like siding and shingles and cabinets and stuff. And they would come in and say like, I have this much, but if you're good, I have a little bit extra like stuffed in the backyard that I'm happy to dig up and throw in the old Facebook ad machine if it's generating me a good ROAS, you know? So clients will come in and they'll be like, one of those two buckets. Now what happens after that? After that, the agency should give you like a rough kind of plan, usually not written down, usually just talking, a rough plan of what's going to happen next, like how they would use this money. Right, you should never expect something super detailed at that point. If you're looking for something super detailed, you're signing a contract because you're asking for the secret sauce. You got to pay for that secret sauce kind of thing. That's pretty much every agency in existence is going to do that unless you're first starting out, in which case you're probably going to just give out free plans, right? Then after that, you kind of go from there, and you whatever you decide, then I mean that's your marketing strategy, and you kind of kick butts along that direction. The agency will break up that money into, again, content creation, stuff like that, because it depends on your goal. If you're doing like a Q2 activation, then they'll say hey, here's $5,000. The agency will break that into like content creation and website updates and graphic design and all that, and then kind of roll it out from there and kind of keep you informed on what's going on. If you have it all earmarked, then you'll essentially get billed for like basically like specific things. Every agency is different, so make sure you ask that question in that meeting. So now let's talk about budgets even farther. How much is a good budget? That's the question. What should I be spending? Because sometimes when a client comes in and they're having that meeting, you're like, how much do you have to spend on marketing? And they'll flip it on you and say, how much do I need? I hate that question. I'll tell you why I hate that question. I had a conversation with someone earlier this morning where they said, have you ever worked with a budget this large before? And the budget to me wasn't that large. I've worked with 4 or 5 times that daily value. But to the client, it was a shitload of money. Therefore, in my eyes, in most agency eyes, it's a shitload of money, right? If it's big to you, it's big to us. So I said, yes, I have. I do have experience working not only in your industry, but with budgets of this size. And, this is what you can expect initially. Like, you rarely will get a number like guaranteeing like a 4x ROAS or a 2x ROAS, which is like industry standard. Instead, you'll say, I'll do the best I can. This is what I've experienced in the past, with this budget in either a related industry, a completely different industry, and in your industry. And then you kind of go from there. And that's really what you should expect when you walk into this marketing meeting and say, hey, here's how much money I have. What am I getting out of it? The agency's probably going to tell you, well, this is what I'm going to do with it. You're rarely going to leave with hardline numbers. Someone promises you a return on ad spend. I would ask a lot of questions and then I would see how many questions the agency asks you in return. If you're coming in and you've actually worked with agencies before and you do that, then the agencies that you're interviewing should be asking you a ton of questions, because we call it like the X experience, like the you've been burned in the past. That's why you're even having this meeting to begin with. So like the agency should then at that point be asking like, what'd you do before? What did you work with influencers? Did they just do Facebook ads? Did they just do static images? Did they do carousels? Was it DCP? Like, give me all of these details so that we can really make the best possible foot forward. So that is the point of today's video. All that is the point of today's video. Takeaways from this: I want you to realize if the budget is big to you, it should be big to the agency as well. Never feel like you should get walked all over or be made to feel embarrassed about the amount of money that you're coming to the table with. If it is less than something like $1,000 a month and you have a pretty limited supply chain and maybe can only distribute to like a very niche area, something like maybe Northwest Indiana or something like that, then like that's fine. If it's less than $1,000 a month, it may be worth it for you then to just do like a consultation or retainer fee with the agency and see what you can get for your $1,000 a month, and then make like a multi-month plan where this month we're doing creative, this month we're gonna do an activation, this month we're gonna do ads or stuff like that, and just get on like some type of retainer. If it's more than like $1,000 a month and you're in a niche area, then the agency is gonna take you and probably run and put you in all these different areas. If you're on a national level, then at that point it really comes down to how fast can you get scaled? How fast can we take all of the profit from the previous month and throw it into the next month so that you can grow and grow and grow as long as your supply chain can withstand it. So that I just talked a whole lot about budget. Your budget, you should always feel proud of how much you're coming to the table with because you've worked hard to get to that point. So never feel like you have to lie about a number. Always be incredibly honest about the amount of money you have, and be honest with the agency and ask a lot of questions. So I hope you guys have an amazing day. I hope you guys are kicking all the butts. We're going to be talking about a new technique this Friday that I'm not going to drop it. You guys are just going to have to tune in and watch the video. I hope those are helping. I hope you like them. As always, you guys know I don't like to leave you empty-handed. So today's brand I want you guys to watch, go check out King's Coast Coffee Company. King's Coast Coffee Company just hired a new marketing director and, or recently, I should say, hired a marketing director. And you can tell she's doing phenomenal. Their photography is top-notch. Their videography is out of this world good. Everything they produce is just fantastic. So their influencers, their like I said, their photography, their videography, it's all flawless. So go take a look, get inspired, kick all the butts, and smile. And I hope you guys have an amazing week. And I'll be talking to you real soon. Bye now.